3631 Tactical. I want to do an update on my review of the American Ruger rifle. I'm going to talk about the accuracy. So I already did a full review on this gun, and I'll put the link to that video in the description box if you want to check that out. But something that happened when I first got this gun, it was a couple days before the rifle season here in my state, and I got it and I sighted it in. When I sighted it in, I basically just took a knee, got a good solid kneeling position. I shot it. I showed those targets, and those targets, I had some decent groups for not really being on a solid rest. Well, when I got home, I put the gun on a lead sled on a solid rest, which you can see in that rifle review video. And the groups were horrible, and I was trying to figure out what happened. And here's what happened. When I got when I was doing the video, the review, one thing I did is I took a dollar bill here and I put it in between the barrel and the stock. And I was using that to demonstrate that the barrel's free floated. But the barrel wasn't free floated. This portion, the left portion of the stock, way up here in the front, actually was making contact with the barrel. So what I did was I took and I loosened up the takedown screw. The takedown screw up here. I loosened that up just a little bit, and it was just enough to get the stock to not touch the barrel. Anybody that knows anything about accuracy with rifles is you want the barrel to be free floated. You don't want the stock touching the barrel. It improves accuracy if there's nothing touching the barrel, right? So I loosened it a little bit thinking it would be more accurate. And I did that after I was done hunting. So I come home, I put this gun on a nice lead sled on a nice solid table, and my accuracy was horrible. And again, you can go back and watch that first review video to see just how bad it was. Well, somebody left a comment on that video, and through our exchange, I learned that I guess Ruger suggests that you crank this down to 60 pounds, 60 inch-pounds, if that's how you say it. So I got the old fat wrench out from Wheeler, and I cranked it down to 60 pounds. And I also took a Dremel, and I dremeled the inside of the stock right here just to shave off just a little bit of material so it's not having any contact with the barrel. And if you look at the gun from the outside, you really can't see. I know it's not the best lighting down here, but you really can't see or tell that I shaved any of that off. And I'll show you a little closer view under the light so you can really see what I did, but just a little bit right here. You know, I really don't suggest you taking a Dremel tool to your guns, but if you're talking about just a cheap, inexpensive Rubbermaid stock, that's not a big deal. You know, don't do that to your trigger or to springs and things like that unless you really know what the hell you're doing. But to just a cheap Rubbermaid stock, no big deal. So I did that, and I torqued this thing down, and I got much, much better accuracy. Alright, like I said, I know it's not the best lighting, but if I put this camera really close, you really almost cannot tell that I did anything to it. But you can see there's the right side where I didn't do anything. And you can see there's the left side. You can see it's just kind of shaved down a little bit. And that made a huge difference. So let me show you the video of what I did out at the range today. Alright, so first up is the Federal Premium 140 grain Nosler partition. Alright, next up is the Federal 150 grain soft point. Alright, next up is the 139 grain Hornady SST. Alright, next up is the Hornady American Whitetail Classic. It's 139 grain interlock. Alright, and last is 120 grain Fusion. Here are our results. Nosler partition. That's still way too big of a group. The Federal 150 grain soft point,
This is where my sticker was. The sticker fell off, but those are pretty good shots. This one, I don't know why the hell that one's way out there. The Hornady Super Performance probably looks like it was the best out of all these bullets. That's probably just over an inch. And I got the caliper, we can go back and measure it. Hornady American Whitetail Classic, again, that's probably just over an inch. That's reasonable, I guess. The Federal Fusion, a little bit bigger of a spread than I like to see. So I think that cranking it down and doing that definitely helped out with some of these bullets, but some of these bullets this gun just does not like. All right, so here's one a little closer look at these targets real quick. Like I said, my best was the Hornady Super Performance. That was my best grouping, and that was a 1.158, so just over an inch, not too bad. The Hornady Whitetail Classic was my second best, and that was just under an inch and a half, 1.47. Probably the worst here was the Federal 150 grain soft points. I had a 3.48 on that one. Two shots really close, pretty nice, and then one was way out here. It could have been a flyer, maybe something I did. I kind of doubt it. You know, I might throw one a little bit, but not that far. Then the Nosler Partitions, 2.61. You can see not the greatest group. And finally the Federal Fusions here at 2.76. Again, not the greatest group. But this works out for me because I really like the Hornady bullets. They're a lot cheaper than a lot of the other premium bullets, I guess, out there. That's what I like to hunt with. And I'll probably get some of those 139 grain SSTs, and I'll just go ahead and load my own. So in my first review of the rifle, I wasn't very happy. After I made those adjustments, now I think it's shooting good enough for a decent little deer rifle. But I do have a complaint, and here it is. Here's the magazine, and today when I was shooting, I broke the magazine. Here's one piece, and then there was a spring that I lost. There's a piece that goes right here on the end of the magazine. And all I was doing was pulling the mag in and out to fill it up to reload the different types of ammo I was shooting, and the thing just broke, snapped right off. This is probably, I would say, one of the things that I would say is bad about this rifle is this magazine. Most of the magazine is pretty good, but this little piece that goes here, this is what keeps the magazine in the gun, this is really cheap. It's really a cheap, cheesy part here. And I'm hoping I'm going to call Ruger Monday, and I'm hoping that they send a replacement since I've only had this rifle about 2 weeks. Hopefully they'll send a replacement. But this would definitely be, I think, a complaint for me, that it broke that early, that easily. And remember, I only have a 7 power scope on here, so if I had a bigger scope, maybe I could tighten those groups up a little more, maybe. But again, that's still plenty good enough, I think, for deer hunting. Overall, the gun's pretty nice for the price that you pay for it. It's a pretty inexpensive gun. The only thing I think I would change on it would be that piece on that magazine. That little piece there is just too flimsy. It broke way too easy. Other than that, after making these adjustments and shooting the gun again, I'm happy with the accuracy. I'll definitely, I think I'll keep it as just a little kind of beater deer rifle. If you like these videos, remember, check us out at 3631 Tactical on YouTube. Thanks for watching.